to show you how to make the best off-grid coffee you could make. Requires no electricity unless you want to use an electric hot plate. First thing you do is fill up your water, however much you're going to want. Like I said, if you're going to use a hot plate, you can use electricity. I'm going to use my propane stove this morning. That's it. Boil your water. That's the most difficult thing you got to do, is boil your water. I'm using my French press today. And as I showed, I'm only going to make 1 cup. So for me that requires 2 scoops. I like my coffee good and strong. Now, whether you're going to use a hot plate, propane stove, or a campfire, it doesn't make any difference. All you have to do is get your water boiling. That's it. You don't need to plug in and turn on a 1200 or 1500 watt electric percolator drip coffee pot. This takes maybe 3 minutes to boil the water, whereas if you're using a percolator type coffee pot, that takes 10 or 15 minutes of sitting on the stove and cooking, and depending on how strong you make your coffee. And then while that's doing that, I get my cup ready with my goodies in it, which is a little bit of creamer, and some sugar. Now this is where I've messed up before, because I needed my coffee to make my coffee. Was I put the coffee grounds in there, and I put the sugar and creamer and stuff in there. It works. Now, because I like my coffee as hot as possible, I sometimes will put that in the boiling water for a minute or two, just so that it's not cooling off the water when I'm making it. And you saw I put the grounds in there. I just put my hot water in there, put that on, close it up. Stir it up a little bit. Now, everybody has their own preferences on what they do to this. It's kind of like wine. Oh, you can't shake it up because you'll bruise the coffee grounds. Whatever. Now, the best thing is, you need to play with this if you're going to try one of these. I found that I like my coffee to steep in here for about 6 minutes. They recommend you do it for 4 minutes. I've also heard that when you get the water boiling, you turn it off and let it sit for about 30 seconds before you pour it in to get it to the perfect temperature. Well, that would be all fine and dandy, but it's getting colder while you're sitting there. I don't like that. I like it as hot as possible. That's the one thing I miss around here, is having a microwave to heat up my coffee, and I would heat up a cup probably 3 times while I was drinking it, getting it just to the boiling point, and then taking it out and drinking it. I like it screaming hot. Otherwise, what's the point? Just drinking brown water. Like I said, whether you're heating your water on an electric stove, propane stove, campfire, that's all you need to do is just get your water hot. And then you put it in here. Like I said, I like to stir mine up a little bit. Make sure the little plunger thing is down in the water, keeping it hot. Now if you look in here, there's an opening there. That's why I got this black mark there to tell me which way the opening is, so I turn it to the other way. Because if I left it open, the steam goes out of it and cools the water off. I don't want it cooled off. Okay, they make all sorts of different French presses, some out of glass, your choice of materials. I chose one out of stainless steel for a couple of reasons. One was it was basically unbreakable, and the other was hopefully it was going to keep the water hotter than a glass one would. As I've said, I'm more concerned about the temperature of it than just about anything else. Another thing is I like to think of this as cowboy coffee, except that there's no grounds in it. Because cowboy coffee, you just boil the water, throw in the grounds, and let it sit. But then they just pour it right out of that same pot into your cup, and you gotta sift through the grounds. Well, you don't have to with the French press. Alright, it's been right at 6 minutes. So turn it to the opening, push the plunger down, and pour my coffee. I wish I had one of these when I was camping. When I used to go camping, I used to have to make instant coffee, which is fine to get you through, but this sure would have made it better. Oh yeah. And I like my coffee thick enough, dark enough that I can't see the bottom of the cup. If I can see the bottom of the cup like you can in a restaurant, it's just way too weak. No point in drinking it, in my opinion. And if anybody's curious whether or not a 20-gallon garbage can hold 20 gallons of water, it can. Been doing this for several months now. That's what I put the dog water in. I have used it to collect rainwater 3 times, I think. But it's not supposed to rain for a couple of weeks, a couple months, who knows. So I just thought I'd do this in case anybody's curious if these things can actually hold water. They do a good job. Never had a problem with it. And I sold my old Trojan batteries. There's 4 of them. The other 4 are still over here. Bye-bye batteries. I sold all 8 of them. So I kept thinking they needed them for here, but I don't, because I can just use that battery to handle the water pump and stuff inside of there. It's all I need. So use the money for other stuff. Yep, that's a skunk. And I kind of had I've kind of been able to smell them over the last couple of years. A little hint of them here, a little hint of them there, but I've never actually seen one here on the property or anywhere close around. Something killed this last night. I have no idea what. I got my puppies right here. They don't smell like skunk. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe a coyote killed it and got sprayed and left. I don't know, because it's all still there. So now I gotta take it over and put it in the fire pit. Yeah, no smell at all on either one of them. But they look guilty, don't they? I don't know. I don't know how well any of this is actually going to show up on camera. But you can see the dog prints and stuff right there. But look at all these little divots. Hundreds of them throughout here. Goes up to about the top of the view right now. All the way down here to in front of the Jeep, and then it just stops. And the skunk was right over about there. Look at all these things. Look like little craters all over the place. They almost appear to be formed individually, because I don't see a pattern of anything, like, you know, if there's 3 or 4 or 5 of them together. Well, look at them. They're just thick. I was walking back from taking the skunk over to the burn pile when I noticed them. Huh. It may have been from the skunk, but I have no idea.